Hi, Dr. Woeller again. This is video 5 of this discussion on heavy metal testing. Fecal metal test is another option for heavy metal assessment. Some people will do a stool test to analyze for heavy metals. I typically don't. I've had a few patients over the years where after a while we've noticed a pattern in metal excretion, and we'll use a fecal test to analyze metal excretion over time. I typically don't do that test as a way to monitor metal detox because fecal metals are too easily influenced by environmental exposure. You can come in contact with something in the environment, whether it's through food or water, and essentially contaminate the test, which means you could eat something that might have high cadmium, or let's say it has high aluminum, and it shows up high in the urine test, but it doesn't necessarily reflect that that metal was absorbed into the body. So there's too many variables. I have used a fecal metal test in certain circumstances as a screening test to see, is this child being exposed to something on a daily basis? And I actually had a case a number of years ago where on a fecal metal test found very high levels of arsenic and very high levels of lead. And when we went back and did analysis on the home environment, it was found that these people lived in an area where they used to do a lot of farming, and we know that farming and the herbicides and the pesticides had generally tended to have a lot of arsenic, and that lead exposure in that area was high as well. So it can be useful with respects to that. But as far as something to assess and do up front, to sit there and determine, whether my child has high levels or not have high levels based on a fecal test, it's too variable. I generally don't recommend it. As I mentioned before in video 1, that's why I generally up front as a screening tool will do a hair analysis. In video 2, I talked about porphyrin analysis, which is a urine test for heavy metals, and combining the hair analysis and the porphyrin analysis as a general screen to help determine, what is our likelihood of heavy metal toxicity, and if it is positive, what are some other testing that we can do, and certainly what are some other therapies that we can implement to help in the process of heavy metal detoxification. Thanks.